Hello and welcome to another episode of the Not For Nothing podcast.
We're workshopping our intro and, this is the most recent version, so let us know what you think.
That was the melody that Natasha just came up with. I had no rehearsal. It was just like a shotgun wedding.
But wasn't it incredible? It just came to me. I'm a born
really
singer-songwriter.
Definitely a songwriter. Definitely a songwriter. I didn't hear you sing it very much.
No.
Do it again.
Not for
nothing. It feels good. Okay. Lately, I've been playing a shit ton of board games. Like this past Amazon Prime Day, myself and a few of my friends were like, okay, we're going to use this opportunity to buy board games. And then when we tried to do that, the board games weren't actually on sale, but I still committed to buying my purchase because I wanted the board games regardless. Like,
which ones were they?
So I bought Uno Flip.
Okay.
Which has become a favorite in my family because the whole point of it being flip means that there's cards printed on both sides, two different decks, basically.
I think that's a card game.
It is a card.
Not board game.
I'd put like board games and card games in the same category. It's not digital.
There's no board to Uno.
There's cards though. Yeah, but, I know there's no board, but you don't need one to have fun. All right, well, the other board game that is actually classified properly that I purchased is Scattegories.
Is there a board with Scattegories?
There might not be a board. It might just be notepad paper and a die. Right?
I've never played Scattegories.
I think there's a board.
I just love that you said that was correctly classified and then was
and it
just
still
not.
wasn't. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a board.
I mean, have you played it?
Yeah, but I don't remember. It's been a long time. It's been
but
years.
You haven't played with the new version you've purchased?
No, I just got it. I have not been able to meet up with my friends yet. My little nerdy board game pals are away. But soon. And I think when I do have another board game night, I'm going to send out a party full. Is it called party full?
Party full. It's considered a party game is the category.
That's why I'm going to send out a party full.
Yeah.
But Uno Flip, the reason it's fun is because since there's two, a double-sided card, with two different card themes, so you know which side you're on at all times, you can look at other people's cards before somebody pulls a card that makes us all flip our whole hand over, so you can see their deck. You know what I'm saying? But you never know when that's gonna come, and people's hands change all the time, and you have to pay attention to the current game as well. So it's a lot of fun. So I love getting high and playing board games with my friends.
Which are neither of those two games.
Well, what is a board game is Catan.
Yes.
And that is a game that I first started playing with you.
Yes.
But I have also purchased it.
Recently during Amazon Prime Day?
Prior to. And I have gotten a lot of my friends hooked on it that were not previous players. It's really fun.
It's a great game.
I love a strategy game. I think it's fun to get really stupid and zooted and play games that are mentally stimulating, You
need to try Ticket to Ride next.
I heard about Ticket to Ride, but I don't really know much about it.
It's like Catan, but it's just basically you're creating railroad systems.
Okay.
And you're connecting trains.
Okay. Fun. Do you have that?
No. I own it, yes, but in New York, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, let's play in New York.
Yeah, sure.
That would be fun.
I'm trying to think what else is a fun board game. I'm not really into that many other than Catan.
I was looking into it, and there's a new Hawaiian strategy game around. And I haven't bought it, but what I liked about it is that a lot of the comments were saying that it was A, a great strategy game, and B, a great game for people who have different types of disabilities. It's because they use shapes, and also for language barriers and speech impediments and all stuff like that, because there's shapes and visuals, and I think another way to also read them, so that's super disability friendly.
Interesting.
And it's also supposed to be just a great strategy game, so I might order that one as well. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it.
And it's called what?
I'm not sure what it's called.
Oh,
but if you look up Hawaiian strategy game, it's like one of the most popular things right now.
I mean, let's look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, but my phone is for Hawaiian
board game.
Strategy game. Well, now I don't trust you if it's a board game or not.
It is, but your classifications are too strict.
Konane?
I think so. Let me see. Oh, no, it's called Latice Hawaii.
Latice Hawaii?
Mm-hmm. Has anyone played that?
Or is it Lattice?
Lattice?
Lattice? Lattice? I don't know. I have not played this, but this looks really fun. Wait, I used to have this game, I think.
No way.
I think I had the standard.
You just went from I've never heard of it to I used to have this.
I didn't think, I've never known what the name was, but I remember seeing these pieces in our house.
Have you ever played, you think?
I remember like seeing the pieces and messing with the pieces, but like not like playing the game.
Yep. I might get it just for us to try out one day.
I mean, yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay.
On a different note,
I wanted to know.
What's up?
You know, we all this talk about toxic relationships, boundaries. Let's have some moment of self-reflection, you know? Like, what are your most toxic traits?
None, I'm perfect.
Okay, good answer.
From that, you can
Try
deduct
again.
your own toxic trait.
Narcissism.
Yeah.
What else? For real. I would say that my toxic traits, my ADHD makes things hard sometimes. In a lot of ways, it can make me toxic.
I don't think that's a toxic trait. That's like an actual disorder. I think the toxic trait is...
poor communication.
Yeah, like around that, like... It's not a toxic trait to have a disorder.
No, it's not. But I do think my ADHD brings out a lot of my toxic traits.
Yeah, I would say we're like, not saying that this is your toxic trait, but this is some in many people, like over-promising. When you know that you're not somebody who can deliver because you have so much going on.
I find myself in that predicament sometimes. So yes, it was me, wasn't it?
It wasn't you personally. I just know a lot of people who do that. And I'm like,
yep.
You don't have to be doing this.
Yep. So you?
I told you that I'm perfect.
Oh. Okay.
There's only positivity in me.
All right. Well.
But I think that the most toxic trait is doing too much work for free.
Yes. Yes, that's a big one. I would say one of my most toxic traits is letting people get away with doing me dirty or like other people dirty because I don't feel like dealing with it or bringing it up or revisiting it in a dark place. And sometimes there's a fine line between growth of you not wanting to like get into like an argument or a fight and just like let things go to rest or to act on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's complicated because sometimes with people it can be extremes. It's like, oh, you can't confront the issue because you know there's no way to have a rational conversation with this person. You know, it depends on, I guess, where you're meeting other people too.
But also I think the toxic trait in that is thinking that you already know how somebody's going to react.
Yeah.
Which I tend to do that too, but I also think I'm very good at reading people and
understanding where they're at and where what mental space they're in.
But that is a toxic trait of assuming and therefore not actively making an effort to address things because you're like, I already know this person's like not going to be hearing me.
Right. Or like make an excuse for them being unable to hear it when it might help them work on themselves.
I would say my toxic trait, the biggest one is whenever I'm with friends, I have completely refused to contribute to rolling joints. And so
Oh.
on that note,
Really? I feel like you're
throw
quite
me
good.
something to smoke.
Here, I have something actually. It's in this the joint locker.
No, I'm good at rolling like when I'm alone, but when I'm with others, I'm like,
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like,
like-
you kind of. Then again, I participate in your joints rather than rolling myself sometimes. So maybe it wasn't for the group, and I'm assuming it is. You know. But anyway, I fucking love this joint locker. Like I'm constantly finding joints in here
I know
that I forgot about, which is the
so
best.
Nice.
It's like.
You know how like
Something
sometimes
for your future self.
if you wear a jacket that you haven't worn in the winter season,
And you
it's
find
like
money.
you can find money in the joint locker. It's kind of like that. It's like I'll put a joint before I leave, but then I'll end up rolling something up wherever I go, and then I get home and I'm like, holy shit, I still have this joint in there. Fuck yes.
Hell yeah. Modern doob tube.
It's the modern dude tube, but it also has the lighter already, which is nice. Because normally I bring a doob. It's like one or the other. It's like the chips and the salsa. It's like I will have brought the doob tube, but maybe not the lighter, and vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah, this thing comes in fucking clutch.
But speaking of rolling up, what's some of the worst fabrics and like clothing that you could be wearing while rolling up? And also, here's to our audience. Does this also happen to you? Do you also get weed crumbs all over your body, or is it just us gremlins?
When I go to lick the joint after I'm done, after I'm basically done with the roll and I'm just ready to tuck and flip, that's when most of the weed comes out on me. And unfortunately, when my hair is down, it gets all in my hair and all over my chest, and it's just so fucking embarrassing. I just like sit there with the tray like this, like.
But the worst, I have this one black sweater, like acrylic knits or any sort of like wool knits.
Yes.
My black turtleneck sweater, like I think there's like weed crumbs from like 2018 in there that will never come out.
Exactly. I think my rule for this is if it's a texture that could, emit electricity. So if you can shock someone from the sweater you're wearing, it's going to collect weed crumbs.
I'm trying to think. I feel like satin might be a really great fabric to be wearing, or silk. I would like to only be rolling in silk, please.
I guess it would roll right off,
because it would just
right?
like.
It's kind of true, unless it's like spiky from the stems.
Yeah, but then you would also find the stems easily because I feel like they would
stab the shit out of you. Damn. Any kind of like felty knit
shit, yeah,
is really like gonna put you in a fucked up place.
And also you need to be careful, and this happened to me in college. I don't know if you remember like that era of the chunky scarves.
Oh, yes.
And they were like always shitty, right? They were like synthetic fabrics, all this stuff. And nobody talked about how the fact that it was extremely flammable.
I never thought about that.
Extremely flammable. And I like
have you
lit
burned
a scarf on fire once when I was lighting something.
Are you serious? Wow.
So also beware of what fabrics you're wearing, so you don't want to wear something flammable.
Yeah, I guess so. And depending on the size of your like bowl or pipe, if you're lighting it, you can actually burn your eyelashes off.
Oh my God, that's happened to me before.
It's a real thing. It's happened to me before as well.
Eyelashes and eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
And they like singe off. They become
and
light
the nose
brown.
hairs.
That's definitely happened.
That hurts.
Uh-huh.
So be careful out there.
Absolutely. When you're dating around,
yeah,
would you consider a long distance relationship something that you would deem like, is it like it's absolutely off the table, or is it something you can consider for the person?
I don't think it's off the table.
Mm-hmm.
Something I would consider. It's not something desirable. Like, it's not like I want that, nor am I looking for that.
Could you do it, though?
I could do it. I've done it.
You have?
I have, but I don't think that, like... You need to have, like, a established end date of the distance no longer being long.
Yes.
And so, if you don't have the end date in sight, it feels just like a waste of everyone's time. And
like an endless
I don't
long
like
distance.
that. Yeah. Like, I'm not visiting you back and forth like this for us not eventually to build something together in the same place. Like, we're not just fuck pen pals.
Yeah, that's so true.
Which is like, whatever, different. You could do that too.
Mm-hmm.
But like a true long distance relationship, I feel like the only successful ones that I've seen happen or that myself have been in are like when it's just the distance for a bit. And it
Right.
like I
It's
did it
riding
for
out
like a full
storm.
year. Like it's doable for a
Oh
long.
wow, I was gonna ask you how long you've done it. A year.
So like I feel like a year and a half out of like the total 5. So I'm like it's doable.
That's
but
doable.
like you need to know that it's not gonna be forever.
It can't be forever. It can't even really be close. Yeah, I've never done long distance. I guess I have in the way that like I've been in situationships that weren't, it's not like my official boyfriend, but someone that I was like with, you know, and it's only ever really lasted a few months at a time. So I see what you're saying. Like there definitely has to be a huge level of commitment for a long distance relationship to even like
or not.
go
Like
anywhere.
I feel like stoners are really good at it because it's like we're not out and about like at the bars every night. Like I'm just smoking
So
my
true.
weed on the couch.
It does make it a lot easier trust wise and like communication wise, I think, to be in a long distance relationship with someone who wants to be home rather than like someone who's like out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also don't, I feel like that's like the double-edged sword where it's like either that or the person is home too much and becomes like really like resentful and codependent of the
Yeah.
other person having a good time. And that becomes really toxic. Like it's most healthy when both parties are doing their own thing and it's kind of like we're not together right now because we're doing our own thing.
Mhm.
And so it makes the distance worth it.
You know what? The big difference there and the differentiator is that those two people have to be honest about that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm doing my own thing, meaning I'm not like doing my own thing, meaning dating.
No.
Whenever people say, well, you know, I feel like when guys say the term, I'm doing my own thing, they usually mean I'm hooking up with other people. I'm single, no strings attached.
Yeah, because boys don't do anything.
Yeah.
But I'm like out here building businesses.
Yeah.
So when I mean I'm doing my own thing, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm like
thing.
I'm like doing the content and doing the podcast and doing the stuff. Like I'm not
doing nothing.
Like, could you imagine? That's the funniest part. I'm like, I can barely date one person. You want me to date multiples?
I feel like a lot of people don't have a hard time, like cheaters, they don't have a hard time dating multiple people because they're not really like they're not really within themselves. No, I'm okay right now.
Will you just put it in the ashtray?
They're not like living within themselves in a way, you know, like they're just like living for the cheating. Like I feel like they're going through the motions to hide the secret.
I don't know. I think there's a lot that happens in infidelity and why and who and what.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there are some people that are just like looking for chase. I think there's also a lot of other situations. But cheating on a long distance partner is fucked up.
Bullshit.
Like, have open communication about that. Be open or don't be.
And be honest.
Like, there are always hiccups in the road. Everybody's human. It's really just about talking about shit and, like, respecting the other person. And I think that's really what it is at the end of the day, and why people hate long distance relationship is because they realize that the person that they were dating or interested in, they would never be interested or dating them if they weren't literally in the same proximity. That's
so true. Isn't it so crazy how, like, I know you've probably seen that thing that says, like, you believe out of all of the, like, 9 billion people in the world, you believe that your soulmate is in your fucking hometown.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just like, you've just settled for this person because they were in your friend group or they lived in your neighborhood.
Yeah, and you kind
or they
of
went
got
to your
along.
college. But, like, the minute shit gets rough, you start realizing, like, I actually don't want to commit in this way for this person.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you should have just known that in the beginning. Or been more honest with yourself.
And it's not too late to consider that now.
But I think there's also phases in how you date and, like, what you look for. That's also like one of the hardest part of long distance relationships is that you're kind of like growing without the other person,
So
and the
true.
other
They start
person
to
is
not
growing
know
as
you.
well.
Yeah, like you guys like don't know each other as
Yeah,
much.
and you're having experiences that are not together. Like it becomes difficult to like make space and like catch each other up on all this stuff. But that's also like part of life and whatever.
It is.
But on another topic of phases, this is one that I think is hilarious, is the different skincare phases we went through as a generation of millennials.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have lived through a lot of fads and a lot of different, somewhat harmful trends when it comes to taking care of our skin.
Oh, yeah. A bunch of harmful ones.
My favorite one was like when I was a teenager was the St. Ives apricot scrub.
Oh my God.
Which is literally so bad for your skin.
It's abrasive as fuck.
It's so abrasive. And I would literally scrub the shit out of my face with these beads.
And the
that
crazy
were so
thing
bad.
Is, after we did that like exfoliant cleanser, no one taught us to moisturize our face.
No one taught us to moisturize.
And we thought that moisturizing our face would give us pimples. So
I feel like there was a really big anti-moisturizer movement in our youth.
100%.
And now there's like a resurgence of CeraVe and all the hyaluronic acid and all the jelly stuff. And now you're learning that you don't break out from moisturizing, you break out from bacteria and not cleaning your face.
There was also, we did live during the Glossier movement.
Yeah.
Milk jelly.
Which I don't know about you, but really it just made me break out all the time.
I didn't use their skincare. I used their perfume only.
It didn't like clean my face. And so I was just going to bed with makeup on, basically.
Well, the perfume doesn't stay on my skin. So I hope we're even.
Yeah, that was definitely an era. There was also, do you remember like the brush, the like vibrating?
Yes, like little Neutrogena, like bristles.
Yeah.
I remember the
and
one
by
that
little
was
bristles, it was like a full ass brush, like a toothbrush that was like this.
Well, that's
big.
what I was gonna say. There's two kinds. There was one that was like toothbrush type bristles, and one that actually was silicone bristles. Yeah. I liked the silicone bristles. They feel really good, but I don't know how good they are.
For you.
They are, right?
It's literally all bad for you. You shouldn't ever be exfoliating it to that level, from my understanding.
Is it an exfoliation if you're like using like a brush to clean? Or is it just exfoliating if you're using a rock or something that's like,
I think the goal was that you were supposed to like use it with a cleanser that was like the combination was like gonna exfoliate.
Scary.
I just remember it being so uncomfortable.
It was just very aggressive.
We also lived through, we were talking about the self tanners.
Oh my God.
The orange phases of our lives.
We made it through my friend on picture day when she was young used Mario Badescu's spot treatment on a pimple, and it essentially became a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
And like a hole in her face.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, so that was like a skincare no-no that I like distinctly remember. It's like the pink paste. Remember that?
Yep.
I'm still in disbelief that there's like all of these Kardashian skincare lines. There's like Kylie Skin, KKW Skin, like, and I'm just like, who is buying this? It's like the cheapest blanks possible for the bottles.
Yeah.
Literally, no joke. It's so cheap.
Seen it. We were also like big on, do you remember? I don't know if you had this one, but it was like the beginning of the whole clean and clear movement. And there was like the morning one that was supposed to have like vitamin C, like,
yes.
And then there was one that was supposed to be like an oxygenated one.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And there was just like all these, it was the beads. It was the beads era.
The beads were so big. Charcoal era was big.
The charcoal era, the strips, the Biore strips, which are still a thing, but like very poppin' back in the day.
Yeah. Speaking of skincare, what about the waxing strips?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. The waxing strips,
The ones
not
that
as,
like self-heated, like you would just put them in
but
your
those
hand.
aren't as bad as Nair.
No, Nair is a whole other different
And
skincare
V.
problem. Yeah.
And people were doing that on like lip and then over tweezing the eyebrows. It was truly, our bodies have endured so much in those years.
I
And
can't
it's
even
so-
tell you with over tweezing.
But
like,
it's so interesting to watch how Gen Z's like relationship with skincare and cosmetics is all about like enhancing your natural features and
yeah,
like
that's
being
kind of true.
like being kind to your, like, I'm learning so much about my skin barrier through TikTok. And I'm like, none of that was, we were trying to be as pale as possible with the darkest under eye eyeliner. And
I was not trying to be pale. I was trying to be super tan, but also wanted eyeliner. But like definitely the extreme of both sides.
it was just like so much. And the clunky mascara.
Yeah.
I was really big on the dark lipstick,
Yes.
the chokers. It was a different time.
It was a different time. And
Not one I ever need to go back to. I feel like my skin feels so much healthier as I get older through learning from these young people.
you can't forget the skincare eras of the girls that wash their face in the sink in the Neutrogena commercials where the water's flying everywhere.
Mine never went like that. And I tried
Never.
so hard. I would tell my sister all the time. And I also I don't know if you ever did this, but there was like an era of using the Dove soap bar for your face.
No.
And that's what my mom said was the best for when you had acne.
I swear to God, my mom said the same thing.
And my face would just be like,
It's just absolutely stripped.
it's how I guess Botox feels.
Yeah, exactly. You
Like,
can't move your face.
Move your face.
And it's like you literally lost years of oil
And yeah,
in one wash.
I feel like I'm moisturizing for my past sins.
Yes, exactly.
Ghosts of cleansers past.
We're saying all of this, but we're missing two very key critical things. And the first one being the pill that you could have taken to get rid of acne.
Oh, Accutane?
Accutane.
So many people did that.
So many people did Accutane.
But do you remember, do you remember like the Accutane like girlies who like would get so blackout drunk because they were on Accutane?
No, I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
but
you're
I
like
did
not
know.
supposed to drink on Accutane or have unprotected sex.
I know about the unprotected
Yeah.
sex. You have to be on multiple forms of birth control.
No, just-
two. No, you need to have two.
You need
So
to
you be
use
using
two.
condoms
Yes.
and be on birth control,
Yes.
for example.
Yeah.
Because they
Which,
didn't want you reproducing because it caused some weird shit in reproduction.
yeah.
Which I'm like, don't we think that might be able to happen after you're off of it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's scary.
I think there's like a ton of meds that you're not supposed to be doing stuff, having kids on.
Oh, really?
It's just one of the more popularized one. And I also think that like women are more vocal about their Accutane usage. It was just like, it was a very like alarming clause at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's a bunch of meds that
Okay.
would be detrimental to a baby.
And then my second thing I wanted to bring up was, what is the medicine that you would take? It start with a P.
Penicillin?
No, it was for acne, and there was commercials on it, and then it became available in a vending machine.
Acne medication that starts with a P?
With a P. It wasn't medication. It was like skin. It was like a multi-step treatment.
Oh my God. Acne multi-step. I don't think it's with a P, but I know what you're talking about. Proactive. It is with a P.
Remember
Okay.
Proactive?
I feel like Proactive was one of the first like MLM vibe stuff where it was like,
MLM vibes, right?
at first you had to like, I wanted it so bad.
Me too.
And my mom was like, no. And you had to like mail in a form. And then they had the whole option where it could be customized with your skin and you had to fill out some quiz. And now you could get it and now you can just get it at CVS.
Yeah, I know.
They
When they
really-
made the vending machines, I was like already growing out of acne, kind of.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh.
But that was, and they had a ton of celebrities. I think they had Zac Efron doing the commercials and like not Julia Roberts.
Potentially
the young
Hillary
one.
Duff. Like
Hillary
a bunch of
Duff.
other people that were like big in our time were promoting it.
It was
Yeah.
so funny.
Wow.
And
What
now
other
we're all
skincare trends do you guys remember?
now we're all looking for fucking wrinkle treatments and Botox.
Would love would love some Botox. Let us know what skincare trends you're participating in now so we could have a time capsule for a few years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know any of your skincare trends that you've done that we may have forgotten about. We've put our faces through hell, so I'm sure, which is very, very clear, at least from mine. But remind us about the shit we may have missed. Thanks for joining. Like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Please give us a beautiful rating. That is what we would love to see from you. We've seen a lot of other podcasts getting really high 5-star ratings, and we are trying to get neck and neck with them. So help us get there. You can follow the podcast at Not For Nothing Pod across all platforms. And you can follow me at How Can I Help You?
And you can follow me at Natasha PRZ or Pussyweed.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.